I'd way rather cook outside, but everything would get blown away. Wow, that thing was crazy.
So we are out here near Albion, Idaho, where Cleveland Lake is located. Today's May 5th, and we are going to attempt to hike over to Cleveland Lake. The reason we're doing this is just to see how much snow there is now compared to like in a month or so when we backpack this. Is so bad that we weren't able to make it to Cleveland Lake to scope it out, but I think we have enough information to know that it's going to be a while before this place melts. So right now I'm just taking a quick little break before I go back out in the wind. This huge tree is actually blocking some of the wind, so there's Clint hiking back. I don't know if you can see him. I'll zoom in a little bit and you'll be able to see him. Definitely a storm is hitting this area, and the clouds are moving really, really fast. And there's Clint right behind me. Like I said, we weren't able to make it to Cleveland Lake. It is just so windy. My goodness. So this is how much snow is still up here. Here's another example. I mean, there's certain spots that are lower than others, but that's Clint right there on top of this drop-off. Like, holy crap, if you were in a snow machine or something and didn't see that, you'd be in a lot of trouble. Today is May 28th, and we decided to drive up to a Cleveland Lake area to scout out and see what the melt is like, because we are going to backpack this probably maybe 3 to 4 weeks, so before the 4th of July. We came up here May 4th, and you'll see the footage from that before this video. It's melted somewhat, but holy mackerel, there is still a lot of flippin' snow. Clint just flew the drone over Cleveland Lake just to see what the snow level is like and how much melt there is, and it's about 75-80% covered in snow, so it's definitely going to be another month before we can even attempt to backpack this. So what do you think of that?
Cool. still really deep snow.
Welcome back to the channel. So if you've been following this video, or at least watching this video from the beginning, we have been coming up here for probably about the last month watching the snow melt, because we want to come up here and backpack right before it completely opens to everybody.
Yeah, it's a cool area to snowshoe on because they close the lower gate. Cool to come up here before they open the road, and you have this great road to hike on. And it's a little strange because in less than a month, there's going to be hundreds of cars driving on this road.
The next video that you see, though, will be us backpacking up here. So let's get going. What's the report?
So we're doing some recon. So I flew the drone, and there's this little narrow walkway on the road that goes right to the lake. So it's ready.
Well, we might have to come here sooner rather than later.
Time.
Okay.
So I am walking along the road, getting close to Cleveland Lake. Very nice. She decided to bike pack this time to give that a try. So when she catches up to me, which should be very soon, I'll ask her how that's going.
guys, so we made it to Cleveland Lake, as you can see, and it's absolutely gorgeous. There's tons of snow. Nobody is here. We definitely have this area to ourselves.
Yeah, and it's such a short hike. It's only about 1.7 miles. It took us like 45 minutes to get here. And you know, sometimes you think, well, I could just drive to this lake, but if you wait until it's open and you can drive to it, then you have to share with everyone.
Yeah.
But the way we did it, where we just come up right before they open the road, we get it all to ourselves. There's no one else here, and it's great.
And I rode my bike, and I thought that it was going to be hard, but it was actually easier than walking, to be honest with you. There wasn't really much weight put on my back or my hips or anything, so that was awesome. And then tomorrow, all I have to do is just pedal up about 300 feet or something and then coast down back to the vehicle, right?
Yeah, I don't even think it's 300 feet, but yeah, like on a bicycle, if you decide to bike pack, then it's a really short distance. It's like 15-20 minute ride max. So
we're gonna just kind of chill out. This is our first backpacking trip for the season, so we just want to explore a little bit, settle in, get back with you guys in a bit.
Yep.
So this is the campground that we are staying at. It's right at the entrance of Cleveland Lake, and it's actually really nice. I mean, we have a couple of tables and a fire pit. Let's just show you guys around a little bit. There's the lake there. Kind of a 360 view here. We'll probably pitch our tent either like right there or on this side. But there's that snowdrift I was talking about. And down behind the snowdrift down below is an entire campground, another campground that has tons of spots, and it's got some really nice spots. We'll go explore a little bit later when it cools off. It's a little bit warm right now, but what are you doing? I'm not feeding you. Look at this. This little rascal is like begging. What you doing?
Cutting some wood. This big dead tree was kind of sticking right into our campground, and it'll work for firewood too.
Yeah, it's way dry too. Yeah. So we're definitely going to have a little fire tonight, and we're excited to be backpacking. I mean, this is honestly like the most simplest backpack trip I think we've ever been on.
Yeah, it's just so quick and easy to get here. You almost kind of feel like maybe you're cheating a little too much. And this would be perfect for, you know, if you weren't sure about your gear, you know, because it's literally, you know, 40 minutes back to your vehicle.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. If you're testing stuff out and you're backpacking for the first time, and you're not certain about like your tent or your sleeping gear or anything else, that's true. This would be actually a really good place to come and test everything out, because if anything goes weird, I mean, it's literally 45 minutes or if that back to your vehicle.
being attacked by bugs and the weather. Literally a storm just started to come over the horizon, and it was kind of hot, so we didn't set up our tent, but now we're trying to catch up, but time's running out because there's a crazy storm coming, so we're trying to get everything set up.
There's those ominous clouds that were approaching, but I think they're passing by. There's just cool ponds everywhere from all the snow melt. So I don't know if you can see right ahead of me right here, there's a couple of camping spots just right here. And then there's like this restroom, and then there's a couple of camping spots just all along this road over here. So I'm not sure if it's coming through, but there is a huge waterfall on the other side of this lake from all the snow melt. Clint did get quite a bit of drone footage of this amazing roaring waterfall. I mean, it's loud.
And here is our tent. It's kind of stuck out here in the parking lot, which isn't the best, but this is a nice flat spot. And we originally were going to camp here, which would have been nice. But as you can see, there's this big dead tree, and the wind was blowing in from the west. So we just said, nah, we don't want to camp under that tree. So we decided to just kind of pitch our tent right here. But I like it. It's really level, and so I think we'll sleep good. The main thing that you must bring every time.
Coffee?
It's
oh
this
yeah.
magical powder. We just drink instant coffee.
Yeah, it works for us.
Everybody has these complicated presses and all these nuclear reactors that somehow create the perfect coffee. We just use Folgers instant coffee with some hot cocoa. Really good.
You know, we're simple folk. We like things that are really simple.
And then you just put some
biscotti,
and you're good.
You're good.
All you need is boiling water.
That's all you need.
I did bring more creamer, and I don't know if you ever saw our Cane Lake video, but the creamer exploded. But
that's because we were at 9,500 feet or something.
Well, we're at 8,200.
And that's nothing.
They haven't exploded. I put a paper towel in there to absorb some of the fluid if it did explode, but we're good.
Weren't we at about 9,500 or 9,200?
Yeah, I think it was another 1,000 feet higher.
Yeah, so we're only at 82. That's nothing. Well, let's walk over to that saddle.
And see the other ponds over there.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to go.
Let's do it.
Here we go. There's that first little pond that we saw earlier, and to the right of it is a little camping spot. So here's another pond, so pond 2. And pond 3 from the snow melt is right over here. Looks like, I guess they built a little bridge. actually raining right now. It's kind of interesting. It's hard to know exactly where it's coming from, but ooh, it feels pretty good. So this is, I guess, the day use area, but it's underwater. I am excited to see what the morning brings. Definitely will have to come in this side and get that mirror effect. It's something that I love. Nighttime is coming. It's really cool to see these trees just in the middle of the lake, just sitting there. What do you think? Know if you can hear the roaring waterfall. Holy mackerel, it's getting louder and louder.
Whoa, how cool is this? Coming right out of the waterfall, or right out of the snow. That is one amazing waterfall. I don't know how active this waterfall is in later in the year, but right now it is raging. That'd be scary to walk on that snow.
I know. Oh, the colors are just absolutely gorgeous. Like I don't know if you can hear, but there's so many frogs right now. I'm gonna just be quiet and see if you guys can hear it.
Well, we just got hit by a crazy storm and now it's passed by and that's what it looks like. Wow, that thing was crazy. It was thrashing our tent, but it was getting us so hard that we basically were just trying to keep the tent up rather than film anything. But whoa, that was crazy. I don't know what that is over there. That was a beast. But the tent survived. See if I can get some better images of this thing. And you can see right where it hit us. Jeez. Now I'm looking straight up. And then it's clear skies, kind of in the direction where the storm came from. Didn't really rain, it just, I don't know, maybe 50-mile-an-hour winds or so. It's hard to say. Let's go take a look at the lake.
You see the next one coming?
Yeah.
So we were going to have a fire, but then a crazy storm blew through, and we decided not to do that. And now it's actually almost 10 o'clock, and it's quite bright out here. And according to our radar, more storms are kind of blowing through, so hopefully it won't be too bad, but
Well, we made it to the next morning, although we did almost get blown away a few times. Pretty much all night long we had maybe 30 to 50 mile an hour winds, and it would get bad enough during the night that both of us were kind of reaching behind and trying to hold the tent up quite a bit of the night, so we didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night.
yeah, the winds were crazy, and before we came here, we actually checked the radar, and there was nothing brewing. There was no storms coming up, and actually I think the wind, it stated it was supposed to be like 6 miles per hour. Definitely not 6 miles per hour.
It never really rained or anything. I mean, it sprinkled a few times a little bit, but I mean, the weather was great, just windy as heck.
Yeah, and it was all night long. These gusts of crazy wind would come through, and the crazy thing is I didn't put the dead cat on our camera just so you guys could hear these gusts of wind that come through. And
yeah, they're real cyclical. It'll just hit and blow for 30 seconds and then kind of lay off, and then a couple minutes later hits again.
And the winds last night, I literally thought it was a tornado. It was such a weird like a sound of the wind that I've never heard before. And I don't know if this area gets this kind of weather pattern, but looking around at the trees around here, they're really like twisted and gnarly. So I'm assuming there's obviously something to it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen these kind of winds late in the fall, like late September, early October, but usually in the spring, it's pretty calm. But especially when there's not an actual storm, I mean, there's
nothing. It's actually blue skies, so I'm not even sure where these winds are coming from.
You can see the clouds are moving by fast.
Way fast.
It's definitely windy everywhere.
Yeah, so we're just going to have some coffee because we're running on like 2 hours of sleep, and then we're going to start packing up and heading out. But we'll check back with you guys before we head out of here. So Clint is making us some coffee and breakfast in the tent because it is way too windy right now to be able to do it outside.
Yeah, I'd way rather cook outside, but everything would get blown away. So
yeah. What are we having? Our favorite thing? The breakfast skillet, right?
I have biscuits and sausage gravy, and then So we were just doing a little exploring on day 2, and we found that there are these old kind of ancient campsites up above the lake on the north side. And I really like this spot because you're somewhat protected from the wind by this big tree, and you're up above and can kind of see down to the lake. So I think we probably would have camped here if we would have known about it.
Well, if we ever come back, this is exactly where we should camp.
Yeah, there's 4 campsites kind of along this ridge, and like 3 of them are really dilapidated, but this one still has a functional bench and a fire pit.
And the wind is really completely covered. There's no wind right here. So
Yeah, kind of behind this tree. If you pitch your tent either here or kind of right there, that would have been much better than the wind fest that we got.
You can still, I mean, it's still windy. What's really crazy, it's so windy that you could see the wind pattern in the snow.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then if you step right over here, there is lots of wind. Like it just, bam, it hits. But yeah, I wish we would have camped here, and maybe next time that we come here early in the year, this is where we'll pitch our tent.
All right, guys, so the time has come where I think we are just heading out of here. Would I recommend this? I would, as long as you can find a spot where you're not going to be blown away.
Do come to Cleveland Lake in the middle of June, and do not come in the middle of July.
Yeah.
No, you can still come in the middle of July. Just
well, so the camping spot that we picked, maybe it just was a little bit more windy. So I think if you go down below to the lower campsites, if you're coming this time, I think it'd be fine because it's not really windy down there. So yeah, so guys, well, thank you for tagging along, and we'll catch you on the next one.